Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today we're going to be talking about something that I feel like I have looked over when it comes to talking about womanhood, femininity. I haven't really talked about confidence or self-esteem. It's really difficult as a woman to have a great sense of self and to have high self-esteem, to have confidence, especially when you're comparing yourself to so many other women. So I'm just going to kind of tell you guys a little bit of my story, a little bit of how I found confidence in my life, and tell you guys what I do to feel better about myself on days where I feel depressed or days where I don't look at myself in a positive way. First and foremost, I think it's important to let everyone know that I developed high self-esteem and confidence at a young age because I had to. I was an outcast for most of my life. I was bullied a lot. I was the weird kid. And I, at one point, had absolutely no friends. My parents taught me very early in life to be self-reliant in order to be happy. If nobody wanted to come and sit at your table, then be happy and content sitting by yourself. And keep busy, basically. I learned to be content with myself and to find solace in being an individual. So I can't say that I struggled too much with self-esteem and confidence because I've always been the outcast and I've always wanted to be, really. I always wanted to be different from other people. Self-reliance came easily to me because it was the only way that I could survive at the time. And this kind of like reliance on individualism is going to come into play later in this video, and I'll tie it all together. But first, I think it's important to kind of understand that I consider self-esteem and confidence to be twofold. I think that self-esteem and confidence has a lot to do with physical appearance, and it also has a lot to do with lifestyle and your direction in life. So I'm going to kind of split the video into two. As far as physical appearance goes, I find that the best way to make myself feel better is to be hygienic. Cleanliness is really important to me. If I'm feeling like shit, the best thing that I can do is like take a shower or wash my sheets, wash my hair especially. I find cleanliness, why do I feel like this is from like a SpongeBob episode? Cleanliness is next to godliness for me. Oh, cleanliness is next to managerliness or something like that. Yeah, being clean is really important to me and always helps with my self-esteem. Taking a shower and doing the absolute most with my body is the best way to get me out of that feeling. Cleanliness is exceptionally important, and most people, including myself, will put being hygienic over physical attractiveness. So next time you're feeling down in the dumps about yourself, I think the best thing that you can do, my advice to you, is take a nice shower. There's nothing really better than just being clean yourself and also having like clean clothes, clean sheets, clean socks, smelling nice, hydrating your skin, moisturizing. There's nothing really that'll make you feel better than that, even if it won't get you all the way to the top. So that's all I can really say about physical appearance. But when it comes to self-esteem, self-respect, self-worth, I put a lot of emphasis, this is kind of the second half of the video. I put a lot of emphasis on lifestyle, direction in life, and purpose. I put a lot more emphasis on that than I do physical attractiveness. I find that when I feel the most down on myself, it's when I'm thinking about my life and my future, my direction in life. I'm not as fixated on my looks as I am with accomplishing something or doing something that provides value to me aside from looks. So when I'm feeling sad or depressed, it's because I feel like I haven't gotten enough done. It feels like I'm not ahead in life or I'm not fulfilled. And the best way to get out of that feeling, this kind of like angst, is a few things. It's first and foremost, it's knowing what you want in life. It's creating your own laws and never breaking them. They should be written in the Rosetta Stone. They should be part of your marrow of your bones. There should be certain goals that you have for yourself, boundaries that you have for yourself, and expectations. You should never waver from them, because once one law is broken, they all break. You have to know yourself, you have to know what you want, and you have to have, a future that you can see for yourself. And you need to work every day to get there. Check everything off of the list that needs to be done. If I'm having a day where I feel like my self-worth is very low, the best remedy for that, the best cure, is to be productive in one way or another. I think the most important lesson from me bringing up my childhood, I look back on that time in my life where I went from having very low self-esteem to being very self-reliant. I noticed, at least, that there is a tendency, because of this need for self-reliance, it started to breed this desire to be different, to be an individual, to go against the grain. I felt an almost compulsion to be different because society didn't accept me, so I decided not to accept society. And I decided to become a radical individual. I didn't want to conform. The beauty of not conforming, while it can be lonely, when you're an individual, there's no longer anybody else to compare yourself to. Being a conformist means that there are hundreds of thousands of people that are all trying to reach the same goal, and therefore it's very competitive. But when you're an individual, you're creating a world for yourself, and therefore anybody from the outside, they don't have any merit. There is no way for them to judge you because you're not trying to be a part of their club, which I think is it's an elegant solution to that problem, this problem of self-esteem, having issues with confidence, because most people, their issue is because they're comparing themselves to others. But when you become an individual, you are creating your own world, your own laws, and you're living by your own rules. So you're therefore content because there is nobody else out there that can make you feel lesser. And while it can be very lonely, don't get me wrong, when you do eventually find that person that understands you, they're 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more valuable than having a group of similar people around you that just nod their head and say yes to everything you do. And they don't make you feel fulfilled. They don't make you feel understood. They just make you feel like you're part of a group, which isn't exactly the best feeling in the world. But it is nice to find somebody eventually along the way that understands your way of life. So my solution, I suppose, to kind of tie everything up, if you want to boost your self-esteem, if you want to boost your confidence, if you want to feel better about yourself, it's not necessarily this whole thing like, oh, stop comparing yourself to others. Discard others altogether. Create your own world. Create your own laws. And in that way, you don't have to worry about comparing yourself to others anymore. And you don't have to worry about being part of a world that rejects you or doesn't want you. And to kind of tie this all together, I'm going to read to you a quote from my favorite writer, Anais Nin. She was also a diarist. There was, in the 70s, an interview where someone asked her why she writes. And Anais Nin said that she writes because she needed to create a world in which she can inhabit, because she could not inhabit any of the worlds that were offered to her. It goes back to what I was saying. The world rejected me. I could not, not necessarily that I couldn't at the time when I was younger, I couldn't not necessarily accept the world, but that world didn't accept me. So I had to create a world that I could live in, that I could be happy in. And it was a world of solitude for a long time. In order to have self-respect, in order to have confidence, it's a very, very internal journey. It's an internal battle. This is not something that you can derive from other people. Self-confidence has to do with the self. It has nothing to do with the crowd that is pointing fingers at you and saying that you don't dress the right way, or your body doesn't look the right way, or your education isn't enough, or your lifestyle is strange, whatever it may be. If you would like to go out into the world and expose yourself to that, you need to be solid all the way through as a person so that you can take the blows from society and walk away unscathed. And I think, as an artist myself, any individual in general, we have higher self-esteem because we learned very early on in life that world was not enough for us. We could not be content in a world like that. And maybe that's the problem with some people too. If a lot of people were to be able to succeed at conforming, I think a lot of people would be dissatisfied with the result. Even if you had been longing for it for years, for decades, to belong, to fit in, you'd be surprised at how empty an existence like that is. So to kind of end this video, I'm going to read the full transcript of what Anais Nin said to her interviewer when asked why she writes. Why one writes is a question I can answer easily, having so often asked it of myself. I believe one writes because one has to create a world in which one can live. I could not live in any of the worlds offered to me. The world of my parents, the world of war, the world of politics. I had to create a world of my own, like a climate, a country, an atmosphere in which I could breathe, reign, and recreate myself when destroyed by living. That, I believe, is the reason for every work of art. The artist is the only one who knows the world is a subjective creation, that there is a choice to be made, a selection of elements. It is a materialization, an incarnation of his inner world. Then he hopes to attract others into it. He hopes to impose his particular vision and share it with others. And when the second stage is not reached, the brave artist continues nevertheless. The few moments of communion with the world are worth the pain, for it is a world for others, an inheritance for others, a gift to others in the end. We also write to heighten our own awareness of life. We write to lure and enchant and console others. We write to serenade our lovers. We write to taste life twice, in the moment and in retrospection. All right, guys, my camera is going to die, but please leave a like, please subscribe, please comment. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, what your journey with self-esteem has been like. If you guys found the same methods to be useful to you. Yeah, let me know what your experiences have been with self-esteem and confidence, because I'm sure everybody comes from a different walk of life. So yeah, write your heart out below, and I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.